started this campaign, or rather Singapore started this campaign, with a lot of smearing. PAP will say that we cannot run a town council. Actually, how hard is running a town council? That's not rocket science. Right? You just employ a professional to run it. I will ask PAP, is it sure that all the MPs under his slate can run a town council at all? I don't think all of them can run a town council. Because some are just lawyers. They don't run town council. They employ people to do it. So what's the big deal? This election is not about smearing, bringing up 20, 30, 40 years ago what people do to say they are crook. Not about new photos. It's about our life, your future and our future. It's about policy. That's why I've always emphasized, we want policy debates for the campaign because it affects everybody. And that is why I've been repeatedly challenging Mr. Gan to a robust, healthy debate on healthcare issues or any issues he wants. But I have no reply. Even for yesterday's NUSU, they have a policy debate forum for the students. PAP was missing. They didn't want to attend. They are not interested in debates, and that puzzles me. For a government who claims that they have been good in policy makings, they have been taking care of Singaporeans, what are they afraid of? If their policies are good. Right? Paiseh. My paiseh lah. Nowadays got WhatsApp, right? They have a think tank and just give all the WhatsApp, all the answers to my question. Right? What are they afraid of? I think it's not a very healthy campaign. When PAP only focus on issues like town planning, what they want to develop for Choa Chu Kang. I mean, you have to ask Mr. Gan, if he lose the seats, does the PAP government say this bo pakai liao, mai zhou liao? Cannot be, because that's taxpayers' money. And I was asked by the reporters. That is, in Western terms, is called pork barrel politics. And we should not stoop so low. We are an aspiring first world country. And we should have first world politics. And you don't buy votes like that. You win votes by your ideas, by your policy, and you stand by your policy and you convince people to vote for you because of your policy views. Not because you can do upgrading. Not because you can knock every doors and carry babies and kiss babies. Not because you can just run a town council. It is because we have ideas, we have a passion. We can bring your voice into parliament. And you must understand, we are standing here as an ordinary people. We are not asking to be a minister. We are not asking to have $1 million pay. As Safarin have introduced us, there are two politicians here and two activists. And the two activists, I've always counseled them and said, there's a difference between an activist and a politician. Activists can botch up everything and they just say what they want. But a politician can't. A politician has to be practiced to think on overall terms what is good for overall people. Not just what your pet topic is. And you must look at things in wider perspective. Then you can bring the voices of all people into parliament. And that is what matters to you. If you trust me, and trust my views, and you trust me over my selection of candidates to be the real power behind your voices, to project your voices into Parliament, please vote for us. Just now, I've been speaking in Mandarin to say that we have come to a cross point for Singapore development after 50 years of highly concentration of power. After the passing of LKY, Lee Kuan Yew, can this be sustainable? Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. And we are lucky, so far so good, because of Lee Kuan Yew, the whole system is not that over-corrupted. But nobody can guarantee what happened next after he passed away. No matter how you think a government is, how PAP is, you still need people in Parliament to put the voices in check. And that is what all you matters. That is all you matters. People have been complaining, oh, we have been very quiet off election period and all that. That's not true. That's not true. If you look through my blogs, read my messages through my Facebook, I've been writing and writing about policy views. I cannot bring everything on board in here because there's too many things in my mind. And I can only say one thing. Unchecked population growth is the mother of all problems. That's the conclusion. And you have to believe we are not xenophobic. We are not against foreigners. We are against PAP's ruthless, irresponsible population growth strategy. It affects all aspects of our life, our jobs, our public space, our MRT breaks down. It's because of overpopulation also. Our hospitals, our housing problems. That the root of the problems comes with an irresponsible population growth strategy. When you want to increase the population, you cannot just tear down every HDB flats and rebuild double the size of the number of units. You can't do that overnight. It's easy to keep asking people to come in because Singapore is such a beautiful place. We love our country. And there are a lot of third world country people who wants to be here. But can we take them? And the worst thing is PAP have sold out us. I say sold us out. Nothing less on that. Because they want Temasek Holdings, they want GICs, they want GLCs, all the government-linked companies to invest in places like China, like India. But they sign free trade agreement with them. In return, they open our doors wide and tell, for example, the Indians, you can have 127 professions open to all the Indians to come in Singapore. 127 professions. And most of them are PMAPs. There will always be younger, cheaper, foreign PMAPs who want to come into Singapore. There will always be. But do we want them? Do we want them to replace our own people? Do we want them to replace our own people, our own PMAPs, and force them to be a taxi driver? No. That is what matters. Because this government has been used to a monopoly of power. It can do as it wish. Without referendum on the 6.9 million, they come out with a white paper. Say, I want to do this. And without any referendum or consultation, they sign the free trade agreement with all the countries around us, with huge population. 1 billion people in India, 1.3 billion people in China. And he says, we welcome all. Does it sound logical? Even Australia, who is thousands times bigger than the little red dot here, have control over immigration. But we are open for all. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't really make sense to me. And I don't think it makes sense to you. I can stand here, talk all whole night about all my policy views. But the people in Parliament, the ministers who are getting millions of dollars per year, will ignore me, just as Mr. Gunn has been ignoring my challenge to a debate on policies. The only way I can talk and straight into the eyes of the ministers and ask them straight what is wrong with your policies is in Parliament. And I can have all the ideas I have in my blogs, in my Facebook. That doesn't count to them. Sometimes they can steal some of the good ideas that I have and do an improvement. Right? But I will never, ever defend your rights, defend your jobs, defend your housing, defend your healthcare policies in Parliament. The only way you can do it is your vote, because your vote is the people's power. And that is why I put the activists as the candidates instead of high scholars. Why? I saw the passion in them. They are ordinary people. They may not be well spoken, not Queen's English, not perfect English. They may not speak well on the rally stage. But what matters is the heart. They have the passion as well as the courage to be an activist, to go to Hong Park, and even get into trouble because the PAP doesn't like them. These are the courageous people, the brave souls that we need in Parliament to speak up. And we shall not be silent anymore. My dear voters, I have only a few minutes left. And we may not have the funds to run for another rally. I depend very much on people who help us by buying our stuff and contribution. I cannot fight this battle alone. I have my comrades here. I hope I have you with me. May not join my party, with me in the sense that you support me in every way you can. In Chinese, we say, 有钱出钱, 有力出力. Right? That is all matters. I have sold my HDB flat last election just to fight Mabao Tan. Because the PAP ideas of retirement financing by monetizing your flats is flawed. Why it is flawed? It means that only when your flats goes higher and higher, then you can monetize it and use for your retirement. But what's the effect? Your children will pay for the price. Your children will pay at a higher price for the flats in future. And they have been hoodwinking us for all these years by asset enhancement scheme. That is irresponsible government. That is why I have to sell my flat. Just for that Mabao Tan. I admit it, even though I don't get into Parliament. But having said that, I have no flat to sell already. Yeah? So I made some money with my business partners, and I can say most of our funding comes from a business. Freedom is not free. Freedom comes at the price. democracy comes at a price. And I'm very glad these people, the brave souls, are willing to stand by me. But I ask you, are you still willing to stand by me? With due respect, I have to close this election rally. I hope to have next rally, but I don't have the funding now. Right? I hope to raise enough funding by the next few days. I aim to have a rally before the polling day, but no promise. As I say, I have no HDB flat to sell. All my money is locked in CPF, so I'm sorry. All right, with that, I thank you for everybody's presence. Majulah Singapore.